Hi guys, thanks for turning up to Monday Night Yoga. Liv is just getting herself set, so I hope you enjoyed tonight's class. If you would like to leave a contribution to support Liv, this is a pay what you want class. Feel free to watch it, pay whatever you'd like.
I'm on screen. Hi guys, thanks for coming along online and practicing your social distancing today. So it's a 60-minute class, which is what I usually do on a Monday evening. But today, instead of our usual seated position, we're going to start down on our backs. So make your way down when you're ready, all the way, almost as if you're coming into your Shavasana, the way that we usually like to end the class. Just give yourself a moment to lie nice and steady. Giving yourself a moment to become still, letting your eyes close and your arms to rest heavily alongside your body. And then just starting to pay attention to your breathing. So first watching the breath come in and then watching the breath go out. Feeling that extra space within your chest as you breathe in. And feeling the body soften as you breathe out. And then placing your right hand onto your belly and your left hand onto your chest. And then as you continue with the breathing here, try to feel the breath with the hands. So as you're inhaling, you can feel the hands rising. As you exhale, you feel the hands fall. Again, as you're breathing in, and as you breathe out. As you stay nice and steady here, concentrating on the breath, just see if there's some extra parts of the body that you can soften and relax into. Feel those feet flop away from one another as your shoulders pin down against the mat. And just take a little moment to remind yourself that staying connected to your breath is perhaps one of your main priorities for the class. That doesn't mean that you have to do it perfectly. You just want to try and stay aware of a purposeful breath, rather than just allowing your breath to run away from you or holding your breath when things become difficult. You're focusing on allowing yourself to keep breathing steadily, all the way in, filling the lungs, all the way out, softening the body. And then with your next inhale, reach your arms up above your head and reach through your toes. You're going for a full body stretch. Make yourself as long as you possibly can. And then as you exhale, let your knees hug in towards your chest, making yourself a small little ball. Thighs hug in towards your belly as your knees pull in towards your chest. Maybe a soft little rock from left to right on your spine to start to find some movements here. And then keeping hold of just your right leg, extend your left leg back out onto the floor. Think of pressing the back of the thigh down against the mat, and then use the strength in your arms to really squeeze this right knee close in towards the body. Compressing the thigh towards the belly and reach out through your left heel so that left leg is still doing something. It's not a lazy leg. Take a nice deep breath in, broaden across your chest. Breathing out, stay strong through the arms. And then holding onto this knee with just your right hand, your left hand can rest onto your left thigh to help pin that down. So don't allow your left leg to move. Sweeping this right knee out towards the side, but also keep squeezing it in. So it's as if you're aiming your knee up towards your shoulder, wide and up. So you can really feel this on the inside of your right thigh. Keep pushing that left side of your pelvis down, not allowing the body to turn or to twist to one side. And keeping the strength in that right arm to encourage that knee up and out. Holding your knee here, take a nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, you can send that knee all the way over to the other side of the mat, so onto the left side. Now, if it's too far to the floor, then let both of your knees hug in instead, and then both knees go to the left side. Your right arm then reaches out alongside your shoulder, and the palm to face the sky, so the front of the right chest feels nice and open. Let that shoulder feel nice and heavy on one side, your legs to feel heavy on the other, and focusing your deep breaths into the belly and focusing onto this right side of the body. So as you breathe in, feel that extra length. And breathing out to soften. Great, one more, breathing in. And then breathing out, roll your legs back to the center and come to the other side. So you're going to hold onto your left leg, your right leg to reach out, keeping it as straight as you can and really push it down towards the floor. That leg has to work as well. Strong through the arms to pull this left knee nice and close in towards your body, keeping it straight to begin with. Thigh towards belly, knee towards chest, and those shoulder blades draw together behind your chest. Breathing in as you hold here. And then breathing out, just hold with the left hand, sweep the knee wide and high. Right hand stays on the right side, just to help encourage your body to stay pinned down on the right, so that we're not twisting, we're opening into this left hip, focusing that stretch onto the inner thigh, and keeping that strong left arm to keep encouraging your heavy, strong leg in towards your body. Each time you're breathing in, feel the extra space within your chest. And softly breathing out. And then same as before, either the knee goes all the way over onto the floor on the right side, or tuck both knees together so the leg has somewhere to rest onto. Left arm then reaches out in the opposite direction, palm to face the sky, turning your head to face that hand, so you've got a nice long twist right from the top of the spine all the way down to the bottom. This time it's the left side of the body that you'll focus your breath into that left rib cage area, breathing in, breathing out. And just one more here, inhale. Using your exhale, roll yourself back to center, curling both knees again in towards your body, small little ball. Give yourself that squeeze with your arms to really compress the legs towards the torso. And then keeping that hold of the legs, strong with the arms, you're going to roll your shoulder blades off of the mat. Think of your chin coming towards your chest and drawing your forehead towards your knees. Maybe you can even tap your forehead to your knees and hold it there. I won't do that because it makes my microphone muffle. So really allow your body to really compress. Squeeze your thighs towards your belly. You should really be using your core here. Press your lower back down into the mat beneath you. Holding, breathe in. Breathing out. Good. One more breath. Inhale. And then seeing if you can stay compressed, find some momentum to roll your way up into a seated position, so into cross legs, and let's all have the right shin in front, so we're doing the same side together. So simple cross legs. If you want to challenge your hips a little bit more, let's say you have more room or openness in your hips, then wiggle your feet wider towards the edge of the mat. You can also make it more challenging by lifting your hips up and moving them slightly away from your shins. From there, with a deep breath in, reach your arms to the sky, the palms face forwards, we're lengthening the torso. And then as you exhale, those hands come to place out onto the mat in front of you. As you let that chin fall back towards your chest, so your neck becomes an extension of your spine, and allowing your body weight to tip forward. So the body weight is coming more towards the shins, but we're keeping the sit bones on the floor. Don't allow your bum to come up and away. Each time you're breathing in, you're thinking of your chest pulling forwards towards the top of the mat. And with each breath out, you're allowing your body to fold, feeling heavy down towards your legs beneath you. Lovely. One more here, breathing in. And then breathing out. Walk your hands back in. Let yourself sit as tall as you can. Think of sitting proudly. A little lean back through your torso so that your legs can leave the floor. We're coming into boat pose. So that hands can reach forwards alongside the legs. If this is feeling too challenging at the moment, hold the back of the thighs so you can squish your belly and thighs together. The toes are reaching forwards, and we're thinking of keeping our belly and our thighs as close together as we can. Chest is broad, shoulder blades are pinning together. And gazing towards your toes, sitting nice and tall. Holding steady, breathing in. Breathing out. And then one more, breathing in. On the breath out, see if you can cross your left ankle in front of your right shin. So then as you place yourself back down, you've come into cross legs again, this time with the left shin in front. Same options, you can wiggle your feet wider, you can pick your hips up, move them backwards, or just stay in a normal cross-legged shape. As you inhale, the arms reach tall, think of lengthening through your spine. Exhale to send that length forwards, your chin to drop slightly down so the neck and the shoulders stay loose. And if you're looking to find a more intense stretch into this outer area of your hips, which is where you should feel it, think about pressing the edges of your feet down against the mat. So think of the little toe edges of your feet and push them into the floor. Refocusing on that breath, a deep breath in. And a soft breath out. Great, last one, breathe in. And then breathing out. The hands walk back in. We're coming back into boat pose, so find that lift and lengthen your torso first. A little lean back until your feet can leave the floor. You can keep them a little closer down. Again, you can keep hold of the back of the thighs or reach your arms forwards. Option again to stay stationary, holding this shape. Or as you breathe in, take your arms to the sky. Try not to allow any other part of the body to move. As you breathe out, arms come to the right side, your chest is facing out towards your hands so your torso is twisting. Breathing in, the arms go back to the sky, lift. Breathing out over to the left, turning the chest. Good, keep going, breathe in, lifting up. Breathing out, coming to the right. And thankfully, you've only got one more side. Breathing in, lifting, keep those knees hugging in towards your chest. Breathing out over towards the left. Great, inhale, arms to the sky, then cross those ankles. This time, find some momentum to roll over the knees. Otherwise, just turn your legs around to bring yourself into tabletop. All fours, shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees, and finding an engagement through your core. So you're already lifting your belly up towards your spine and finding a little bit of a flattened shape in your lower back. From here, cats and cows. A favourite way to warm through the spine. So inhale, drop your ribs towards the mat, lift your chest, look forwards and press your sit bones to the sky. As you exhale, rounding your back, your chin comes to your chest as you tuck your tailbone and really hollow out the front of your body. Breathing in, ribs go down, chest lifts. Think of your shoulder blades pinning together. Breathing out to round, pushing your spine to the sky. Great, same again. Inhale. And exhale. A couple more here. Use the whole length of the breath for the movement. The exhale rolls you back. Think of broadening your shoulder blades across your upper back. Great, last one. Inhale. And then to exhale. Good. Then coming back to that neutral spine shape, gazing down towards where your hands are. Step your knees just a little further back away from your wrists. Tuck your toes behind you. The knees lift, then the hips push up towards the sky. Then the thighs push back towards the back side of the mat or the back of the room, depending on where you are. Let your head hang nice and loose between your arms. So you're gazing towards roughly your toes, maybe a little higher towards your shins. Now, if your legs are feeling a little stiff here, you can do a little pedal out of the dog. So one knee bends as the other heel presses towards the floor. But do it mindfully. It's not just a crazy shake of the legs. You're trying to let one leg get a little extra stretch to really work into the length in the back line of the leg. And then the other, taking it in turns. And then if you're still wiggling, let your legs become still. So keeping a little soft bend in your knees that will help you keep your sit bones high so the spine can stay long. The hands are pressing into the mat. The upper body really has to work here. Shoulder blades are broad across the back. Think of wrapping them round towards your face, opening your armpits wide. One more here, breathing in. And then breathing out, we're going to walk the hands to the back of the mat, pushing one hand at a time. until you come to the back of your mat. Your feet are hip distance apart, your knees are going to stay bent so that your belly and thighs can compress together. Coming into a ragdoll fold, so just as it sounds, we're floppy. The arms can hang freely in front of you, or perhaps you want to cross your arms or hold your elbows if that feels more comfortable. Your head to hang nice and loose down in front of the legs. The elbows feel nice and heavy to pull down towards the floor, but the hips still lift high. So we're really getting into the back of the legs here. Big old hamstring stretch. Keep those knees that little bit bent so that you can lengthen through your lower back as well. If you wish, you can take a soft sway from left to right, or you can just stay stationary if that feels better in your body. Focusing on that breath. Deep breath in, fill the lungs. Deep breath out, allow yourself to keep feeling heavy. Last one, breathing in. And then breathing out, release your arms if they're not already, and then walking your hands back forwards, allowing your knees to come back down onto the mat, so you've come back into your tabletop. From there again, inhale, ribs go down, chest lifts forwards into your cow pose. And as you exhale, rounding your spine, hollowing out the belly and chest and into cat. One last time, inhale. And to exhale. Great. Coming back to that straightened spine shape, and again trying to remember to keep a nice tension in the core, so we're holding as though someone's about to poke you into the belly. Right hand to go into the center of the mat, so it's right underneath our nose. With an inhale, left arm is going to reach to the sky, chest is turning, gaze goes with it. Then as you exhale, reach under your right armpit, but don't rest to the floor, just reach as far as you can towards the right side of the room. Inhale, send that arm all the way back to the sky, turning. Exhale to thread underneath, same again, don't touch the floor but reach as far as you can. Last time now, inhale, arm to the sky, gaze goes to the fingertips. This time as you exhale, you are going to let that arm rest down, so thread as far as you can, let the side of the shoulder and the side of the head come to rest onto the floor. The palm is facing the sky, and then this right hand can either stay here in front of your head to be a bit of balance, or you can walk it all the way out to the top of the mat, maybe keeping it pitched onto fingertips so you get a nice opening into this right side of the upper body. Think of your right armpit lifting away from the mat as if you were kind of going to roll towards lying on your back, but obviously maintaining your balance here. A little press of the side of the left shoulder down against the mat to keep those muscles active in your stretch and also help you hold with your stability. Great, one more, breathing in, keep turning that chest towards the side. And then breathing out, bring your right hand back in so you can use that to push your way back round towards your tabletop position, and then coming to the other side, so your left hand to go underneath your nose into the center of the mat. Use an inhale, right arm to the sky, turn your chest, turn your gaze. Breathing out, reach under the armpit, don't touch the floor, reach as far as you can. Inhale, all the way back to the sky. Exhale to reach under, holding your shoulder away from the mat. Last one, inhale, reach the arm tall. And then exhale, thread that arm underneath. Gently find your way down onto the side of the shoulder, side of the head to the mat. That palm faces the sky, and then your left arm either stays as it is or walk it away from you towards the top of the mat to find a little extra length through that left side. Sit bones are high towards the sky. The side of the shoulder gently presses against the floor. Let your body weight tip slightly towards the right side of your mat. See if you can find that little bit more intense stretch across your upper back on the right side. And focusing on trying to keep the breath nice and controlled. It always feels a little shorter, a little stickier when you're twisting. Last one, breathe in. Breathing out, use that left hand to unthread. Back round towards tabletop and then coming into puppy pose. So the hips are going to stay here on top of the knees. Try not to allow the pelvis to move from here. The hands then walk away a little bit at a time. Our forehead is going to come to rest onto the mat. If the mat feels too far away, often if you've got yoga blocks with you, have your block and let your forehead rest down. If you need to come a little bit closer, your hips can sink back to help your forehead find somewhere to rest. You just don't want your head hanging uncomfortably between your arms. You want to let your neck be able to rest here. So your hands are out above you. The only thing touching the mat is the palms and the forehead. Obviously your knees as well. But if you wanted to make the stretch a little more intense, you can stack your hands up onto fingertips. And if you wanted to make the stretch a little less intense, you can let the elbows rest down so the forearms are touching the floor as well. So your choice of how much you want to find, or how much is available to you, I guess. Focusing your breath into the sides of the body. So feel like your body is getting wider as you breathe in. And allow your chest to feel nice and heavy as you breathe out. Great, one more inhale. And use your exhale to walk the hands back in, little bit at a time. The shoulders were very extended, so give yourself a moment to come back into your tabletop. Now coming back into down dog, so again the knees want to be a bit further away than they are when they're in tabletop, so just step them back before tucking your toes, lifting your hips, push the thighs backwards and find that nice upside down V shape, trying to keep a nice long stretch in the back of the thighs. You can let your heels think of pushing slightly away from each other to see if you can find that stretch into a little different part of the hamstring on the back of the leg there. So from here with our right leg, as you inhale, lift the right leg to the sky for a three-legged dog, keeping the leg as straight as you can and the hips stay pointing towards the floor. Take another breath in as you lift a little higher. And then as you breathe out, the foot is going to place between the hands. So maybe see if you can tap your knee and nose together on its way forwards, placing it as far up the mat as you can without help, and then helping it there if it didn't quite make it. So pick it up and put it between your hands. Your fingertips are going to stay down onto the mat. Your torso is squished against your front thigh. And then looking forwards, your chest is pulling forwards as your back heel pushes away from you. So you're trying to make yourself as long as you can between the crown of your head and your back heel. The hips are dropping down, finding a big old opening, particularly into this front right leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, keep sinking. And then from here, your left hand to stay down onto the floor. Breathing in, send the right arm to the sky. The chest turns in the same direction, the gaze goes towards the fingertips, but everything else stays the same. The back heel still pushes backwards, the chest is still lengthening forwards, and try to make sure this front knee stays in towards your body rather than letting it fall away from you. Push down through that left hand to help your body twist. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Draw that hand to the floor. The front foot is going to step back. The hips go into the sky as you find yourself back into downward facing dog. 2 rounds of breath here. Use these little pauses in down dog to try and reconnect to the breath, or perhaps slow the breath and give your body just a little more sense of calm, particularly if it's starting to feel challenged. So left leg this time, inhale, reach it tall. Sending the toes towards the sky or the heel towards the sky. Keep all the muscles in that top leg nice and active. On the exhale, the foot's coming forward so you can round the spine, knee to nose, maybe give it a tap, and then placing your foot to the top of the mat, again, giving it the help to get there if it needs. Pick it up and place it down between your hands. Fingertips to stay onto the mat. Compress your belly and thigh together. Keep your hips driving down and then look forwards and pull your chest forwards. As if you're in the sprinter blocks and you're about to run forwards, but that back heel pushes back. It's going to keep you grounded. Finding that space in your chest, breathing in. Finding heaviness in the hips, breathing out. And then right hand is going to stay down onto the floor. Inhale, left arm reaches to the sky. The whole torso is turning to face that top hand. Think of rotating all the way down towards your belly button, keeping that back leg straight and strong, pushing the heel away. Focusing your deep breath down towards your belly where the body is trying to twist. And then breathing out, hand comes to the floor. This time the back foot is going to step in to meet the front foot at the top of the mat. Bringing your feet together, or at least a bit closer together, but then come back to your ragdoll shape. So the knees are bent, the body is resting against the thighs, and you're dangling your arms in front of your legs, and your head is hanging nice and heavy. From here, your hands are going to come to your legs, so usually about your shins, just below your kneecaps. You're going to inhale, chest to pull forwards into a halfway lift. So you're aiming to find a tabletop shape through your spine, a nice long back. On the exhale, refold, letting your knees bend, your hands to touch the mat, and your head to dangle freely in front of the legs. Great, same again, inhale, halfway rise. If you can't quite find that flattened back, let your hands come a little higher up, maybe towards your thighs, and then you can press your thighs out behind you, get that big long stretch in your hamstrings. One more, breathing in. This time as you breathe out, you're coming all the way up to stand, finding yourself nice and tall towards the top line of your mat. And let your feet come together. So we're going to move through a variation of a sun salutation, and the movement is a bit quicker. It's meant to be one movement, one breath, one movement, but just do your best with the breathing. And if you feel like the pace has picked up a little, it's because it has, but you can just do your best. So as you breathe in, arms reach to the sky, gazing up. As you breathe out, forward fold, fingertips to touch the mat, softly bend the knees, dangle the head in front of the legs. Inhale, hands to the shins, halfway rise, chest pulls forwards, long spine. Exhale, hands to the floor, the right foot steps to the back of the mat, lowers down onto the knee, and keep those toes tucked under behind you. Breathing in, lift the torso, reach the arms above the head, sink your hips down towards the front line of your mat into a low lunge. We're going to pause here for a moment. Squeeze through your right glutes, your right bum muscle to squeeze to help the front of the right hip open. Think of lifting your ribs up and away from your hips. One more breath in. And then breathing out. Hands come to the floor, framing your front foot. Lift your back knee, step the foot back, hips into the sky, and into downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in, and a slow breath out. And then with your right leg, inhale, lift it to the sky. On the exhale, bringing that foot to the top of the mat between the hands. Again, help it if it needs help. As you inhale, the back knee has stayed lifted this time. Inhale, lift your torso, reach your arms above your head into a high lunge. Push your feet into the mat to help your body find balance and stability here. Exhale, hands back to the floor, back foot steps in to meet the front foot at the top of the mat. With an inhale, halfway rise, squeeze your quads, press your thighs out backwards. Exhale to fold, fingertips to the floor, soften through your neck. On the inhale, come all the way up to stand. Keep the tailbone lightly tucked and the ribs holding in, a nice straight line with the body. Exhale, let your fingertips come right back down to the floor, hips pushing high to the sky. Breathing in, lengthen forwards, keep your shoulders out of your ears. On the exhale, hands to the mat, left foot this time, all the way to the back of the mat. Drop the knee to the floor, keeping the front knee roughly on top of the front ankle. Inhale, torso rises, arms go up and overhead, and keep your arms nice and narrow, so as if you're trying to squeeze your head between your biceps. Pressing into the ball of that back foot and finding that engagement, this time into your left glutes. One more, breathe in. And then breathing out, hands to the mat, step this foot back, hips into the sky and into your down dog. One round of breath, breathing in and breathing out. Left leg, inhale to the sky, straight and strong, keep heavy through the right heel. Exhale, bring that foot to the top of the mat. Help it if it needs help. Keep your back knee lifted. Push the feet down, and as you breathe in, draw your chest on top of your hips as you lift towards the sky. Keep lunging into that front leg, breathing in. And then breathing out. Hands back to the mat. Back foot steps in, meets the front foot. Use your inhale to halfway rise. And your exhale to forward fold. Inhale draws you all the way up to stand. Arms reaching tall, nice long straight line with the body. Exhale, release your hands alongside your body, keeping the chest nice and broad, shoulder blades pinned back, standing tall. And again, as you breathe in, the arms reach tall, gazing up. Breathing out, forward fold, fingertips to the mat, push your pelvis high. Inhale, chest draws out long, tabletop shape through your spine. Exhale, hands to the floor, again the right foot all the way to the back of the mat and drop down the knee to the floor. This time, untuck the back toes, the top of the foot rests onto the mat, and then draw your torso away from your front thigh and interlace your hands together. So you can then rest them onto your front leg with a nice deep breath in. Press your hands into your thigh. Think about working your arms towards straight. It doesn't matter if they are straight or not. You're thinking of drawing your chest as far away from your thigh as you can, as you keep your hips driving forwards and down. Focus your breath right down into your belly. See if you can expand your belly as you breathe in. Slowly and softly breathing back out. Great, one more, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, let your hands come back down to the mat. Well, I suppose just your right hand. You're going to keep your right hand onto the floor, but step it a little wider so it's off towards the outside edge of the right side of the mat. Your front foot, wiggle it a little wider towards the left side, and then turn the foot out so it's pointing off sort of towards 10 o'clock. Turn your torso towards this front thigh so your torso has twisted, and you can either stay here if this is enough, if this feels already challenging into your hips, your legs, or you can use your left hand to push that left knee away from you so this front foot rolls onto the knife edge. The big toe lifts away from the floor. The front side of this right hip thinks of dropping down towards the mat as we keep that twist into the torso towards the left side. Now this is a big old stretch for this left hip, but if you want to make it more, you can push that knife edge of your foot into the mat as if you're trying to dent, and also think of drawing the foot towards the back of the mat as if you were dragging it backwards, and that should make that stretch in that left side even more intense should you wish to try that. Wherever you are, keep breathing, inhale and exhale. And then one more, breathing in. As you breathe out, let this front knee walk it or roll the foot back flat. Hands to come back either side of the foot, and then lifting the foot, stepping it back, hips into the sky and into your down dog. Another round of breath, inhale and exhale. Great, with the right leg, use the inhale to lift the leg to the sky. Remember, keep the pelvis pointing down. Don't be tempted to open the hip just to let the leg lift higher. On the exhale, draw the foot under the body, placing the foot between the hands. Help it there if it needs. And then same as before, lunge your weight forwards into that front leg and then rise. Taking your hands to your waist for a moment. So you're still sinking into your lunge. Now you can stay into the lunge if this is working for you, or to add some upper body here, you're going to take your right arm up alongside your ear and reach down between your shoulder blades. Left hand either comes to find those fingertips behind you, or if that's not available and you don't have a strap to work with, you can hold your top elbow in towards your head and keep your chest lifting. Push that back heel away from you. And this is a very good pose to keep trying to focus on your breath. You're inhaling into the lungs. You're exhaling. Great. Releasing your hands if you have the bind, let them come back down onto the mat, either side of your front foot, and then step your back foot in to meet your front foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the torso forwards. And exhale to forward fold. Lovely. Inhale takes you all the way up to stand. Squeeze the thighs together, reach the arms high. And let's even it out on the other side. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the floor, dangle your head in front of your legs. Inhale to halfway rise, shoulders away from the ears. This time as you exhale, hands down, left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Drop the knee to the floor, untuck the toes, the top of the foot now rests onto the mat. Draw your torso away from your thighs, you're sitting tall, and then interlacing those hands to rest onto the front of the thigh. Think of your chest going up and back as if you're leaning away from your front thigh, but at the same time the hips are still dropping forwards and down. So you should really feel this into the part of the left hip where your thigh meets your torso, and also into the quad obviously as well, the front of the thigh, but all focused into the front of the left side of the body there. Giving the back foot a press down against the mat will intensify that if that's what you're after. One more here, breathe in. And then breathing out. Let your left hand come to the mat quite wide, maybe even off the mat. Wriggle your right foot a little bit wider towards the right side and then turn the toes out towards 1, 2 o'clock-ish. Your torso twists to face the right side towards your front thigh. Either stay here or use your right hand to push that thigh away from you. Rolling the foot onto its knife edge and keep allowing the left side of your pelvis to sink towards the mat. Each time you breathe in, see if you can lengthen through the spine a little. Breathing out, stay heavy through the pelvis. Again, breathing in. Breathing out. And then last one, breathing in. Use your breath out, let that leg come back towards the centre of the mat so that the hands come either side of it. Lift your back knee and as softly, silently as you can, step that foot to the back of the mat and back into down dog. One nice deep inhale. One nice soft exhale. And then your left leg, inhale, sending it to the sky, straight and strong, reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw that foot to the top of the mat, step it between the hands, persuade it there if it needs its help, sinking into that lunge and then torso rise, hands to the waist, and just allow yourself to pause here a moment. You're very welcome to stay with your hands onto your waist, working the legs, the strength in the legs, or the left arm reaches up and then hand down between the shoulder blades and the right hand goes to see if it can find those fingertips. You can hold your shirt, a strap if you have one, or again, just use your right hand to hold your top elbow if the other ones aren't working for you. Push the back heel away from you, press your feet into the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. And then breathing out, releasing. Hands down to the mat. Back foot takes a big long stride in to meet the front foot at the top of the mat. Using an inhale, pull the chest forwards and lengthen. And as you exhale, refold, belly towards thighs, dangle your head in front of your legs. Using the inhale, come all the way up to stand, reaching the arms high once more. And then exhale, hands to release alongside your body, back into your mountain pose, shoulders drawing together. Feeling nice and broad across your chest. Couple of nice deep breaths, breathing in. Breathing out. One more here, breathe in. And breathing out. Good, your inhale, the arms go back to the sky, lifting, gazing up. Breathing out, fingertips to the mat, hips stay high, head dangles freely in front of the legs. Excuse me. Choking, inhale, chest pulls forwards, lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, hands to the floor, right foot again, steps to the back, drop down onto the knee. This time, inhale, lifting your chest, arms reach tall. Now think of lengthening this right side of the body, so really grow out tall through those right fingertips. And then as you exhale, taking that elbow to the outside of your left thigh. So you're twisting towards your left, your gaze to go over the left shoulder, as you press your elbow into the thigh to help your torso rotate. You can stay here. If you'd like to make it more challenging, you can tuck your back toes, lift your back knee into a high lunge. Your choice. Use your inhales to keep lengthening your chest forwards, Find a little bit of space between your thigh and your torso. Try not to just dump your body weight against your front leg. Take another nice deep breath in. And then breathing out, untwist your hands to come to the floor. Now, this one, we're going to take a nice big quad stretch for our back leg. If you don't have a strap with you, so the left arm is going to go all the way up and over to try and find that foot behind your back. So working towards finding that, the more you can twist, the further your arm will be able to reach to find your foot. If you can't quite grab it, use anything to lasso your foot. Doesn't need to be a yoga strap, a t-shirt, a scarf, anything that you can hook around your foot so that your arm feels that little bit longer will work. Pull your heel in towards your bum, but at the same time your hips are falling forwards and down towards the mat. You can add that same leg that we just did if you want to make it a really big pose. Turn your front toes out at 45 degrees and let the knee fall away from you. We're still twisting into the torso. Focusing steadily onto the breath. It's a big stretch, so really focus on using your exhales to calm the body. Softening somewhere, relax the face. Good. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Release that foot gently back onto the floor. Hands come to the mat. We're going to lift our back knee and walk our hands to the right side as all the toes turn to face with us. So all toes now point towards the right side of your mat. Your fingertips to rest down. If you have yoga blocks to work with, obviously you can rest your hands onto blocks. If you don't and the floor is too far away, you can keep a bend into your knees. Try and keep a nice long spine, so you're thinking of a tabletop spine, and the toes are slightly inwards, so they're pigeon-toed into your feet. With your inhale, think of lengthening your chest forwards. Pull your chest in one direction as you push your sit bones out in the opposite. And with your exhale, maybe see if you can fold a little deeper. You don't need to if you're already at your edge, but see if you can find that little bit more compression of your belly towards your thighs. Each inhale is to help lengthen out the spine. And each exhale to allow your body weight to keep tipping slightly forwards towards the toes and then down as your body weight drops towards the mat. Squeezing those quads on the front of the thighs if your legs are straight. Otherwise, just keep pushing those sit bones high towards the ceiling. Staying here for one more round of breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Then walking yourself back the way that you came, all the way to face the front of the mat, all toes facing the same direction, and then picking your front foot up, stepping it back, hips into the sky, and back into down dog. Each inhale lifts those sit bones a little taller. And the exhales keep your chest pressing back towards the legs, opening into the upper body. With your right leg, as you inhale, lift it high towards the sky, three-legged dog. Now on the exhale, we're going to draw that leg underneath, but this time the right knee is going to come towards the right wrist. So the leg, right knee, right wrist, so same side of the mat. The shin is diagonal across the mat. We're coming into pigeon, those that know it. You can wiggle that back leg away from you until you find the stretch into this outer area of your right hip towards your hamstring, making sure that the pelvis stays facing forwards and we're not tempted to sit into this gap on the right side. Your forearms can then come down to the mat once you've found that comfortable stretch. And think of your chest lengthening forwards as your back toes reach out behind you. So you're trying to think of being long rather than rounded and small. Now, as with all of these big stretches, there's always the option to make it harder if you want to. You can push your entire front leg down into the floor to make this stretch in the outer right hip more intense. But just be wary of your front right knee. If you feel any sort of pressure or twinging or anything just doesn't feel quite normal in your knee, then just back out of the stretch a little bit. It's a sign that you've gone too far. We always want to look after our knees. Great, one more breath in. And then breathing out. You're going to walk your hands back in. placing them as if you were for a plank. We're getting a little bit jazzy now. I'm going to try something fun. Walk your back knee in a little bit so you come back towards what would be your plank shape. Tuck your toes to lift your back knee, and then this front leg, you're going to lift the knee and see if you can step it off behind you. Let the ball of the foot rest onto the mat. Now push your hips to the sky and send your right arm to the ceiling. You can take your gaze up as well if you're feeling balanced here, or just leave your gaze down towards the mat. Pushing your hips high, opening into the top line of the body, breathe in. And then breathing out, see if you can flip your way all the way back into down dog, hips high into the sky. Good, that's not an easy transition. If it didn't work for you, you won't be the only one, I promise. So next inhale, look forwards to the top of the mat. On the exhale, going to slowly walk the feet in, a little bit at a time, compressing thighs towards belly, finding yourself at the top of the mat. Your hands then come to your waist, the knees to stay bent, the chin to the chest, and slowly allow yourself to roll the body all the way up to stand, finding yourself tall at the top of your mat once again. Bring your feet a little bit closer together, breathing in, arms to the sky. Breathing out, forward fold. Fingertips go down, head releases, soft neck and shoulders. Inhale, halfway rise, lengthen out the spine. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left foot steps back. Drop the knee down to the floor, and you can keep the toes tucked under. Breathing in, the chest rises, the arms go high, and the hips stay sinking down towards the mat. A squeeze through the left glutes as you lift your ribs away from your hips. Think of length through the left side of the body here. Breathe in, keep that length. And then as you exhale, the elbow goes to the outside of the thigh. So this time you're twisting towards your right, looking over your right shoulder and pressing your elbow into your thigh to help your body rotate. Your hips are still driving forwards and down, and you're drawing your belly in towards your spine to help give your body that space to twist. If you lifted the back knee on the other side, it's always good to be balanced, so you can lift it again on this side. Take one more nice deep breath in. And then breathing out. Hands come back to the mat. Left hand stays down to the floor. We're coming into the quad stretch. So you can turn that foot out a little bit again. The right arm, take it all the way up, all the way over. Bend that back knee and see if you can grab hold. Same options before. To use a strap, if you don't have a strap, just stay into the twisted version. Ignore that back foot. So pulling the heel in towards your bum, at the same time your bum is kind of like running away from the heel. Keep dropping it down towards the floor. If you want to make it a bigger pose, roll this front thigh away from you, adding on this rotated foot on the front side. Use your breath in, puff up into the chest. So really expanding the front of the body. Breathing out, keep sinking your hips down towards the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Great, last one, breathing in. And then breathing out. Release the foot gently, no slingshots. Hands come back to the floor. We're walking this time to the left side of the mat, so lift your back knee, walk your hands with you, turn your toes to face the left side. I'm going to turn around so I've not got my bum to the camera. So you've got that little bend in your knees if you need to, otherwise your fingertips to the floor, you're lengthening through the back of the thighs and thinking of your chest drawing forwards. Breathe in. Using your breath out, maybe see if you can find a little extra fold. This time, if you want to make the stretch that little bit more intense, you can take your hands and hold the outer parts of your legs. So maybe that's calves, ankles, maybe you can reach your feet or your toes. And if you have that bind, you can give yourself a gentle pull against the legs to help your body fold a little deeper. Otherwise, working in whatever shape works for you. Remember, it's how it feels, not how it looks. So you're looking for that stretch in the back of the thighs, a little bit towards the inner thighs as well. 2 breaths here, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Good. Walk yourself back to the top of the mat, spin your way round, all toes face forwards, and then stepping the foot back, hips into the sky and back into down dog. One nice full deep breath in and a slow controlled breath out. And then your left leg, inhale, reaches to the sky, three-legged dog. On the exhale, it's the knee that's coming forward this time, so left knee towards left wrist, so right towards the edge of the mat. Your knee wants to place down wider than your hip point because we're externally rotating that hip. Drop your back knee down and wiggle that leg back away from you until you find that stretch. It's not until your hips touch the floor, it's until you find the stretch. Keeping your chest lifted, you'll probably then be more comfortable to come to your forearms. If you have quite a deep stretch here, you can, or you need a deeper stretch, you can go all the way down onto your forehead. Same options, you can press the whole front leg down into the mat to make that stretch more intense. But think of keeping length in the body as you sink downwards, rather than hunching and rounding. Allow the legs, the hips to feel nice and heavy, and the breath to stay nice and smooth. Good, nearly there guys, last bit of energy. Draw your hands back in. Find that distance between hands and back foot that's about what it would be for a plank. You're then going to lift your front shin off of the mat, step it off behind you, send it as high up the mat as you can towards the hands, push into the ball of that foot to lift your hips, and then left arm towards the sky. A big long line through this left side of the body, reaching tall and breathing steadily. Pushing down into that right arm, holding strong, breathe in. And then breathing out, see if you can flip it all the way back over into your down dog just momentarily. And then dropping your knees to the mat. Send them quite wide towards the edges. Big toes to come to touch. Sink your bum towards your heels and then your hands to walk away from you. Forehead to rest down onto the mat as you come into child's pose. Use your hands against the floor to have a little press, to push your body weight a little further back towards your heels, and just allow your head somewhere to rest. Allowing the breath to slow a little. See if you can elongate your inhales by just a moment longer. Matching those with the exhales as you sink the chest towards the mat. Good, and then walk your hands in towards your knees. Let your knees come a little close together and tuck your toes under behind you. Gonna have a little go at our crow balance now that we're all warmed up and limber for it. So hands are gonna go like they would for plank. If you know your crow setup, then just go ahead. So hands are going like a plank, and if you don't want to do your crow, just stay in your child's pose. It's a lovely pose. The inside of your knee, so on the inside of your kneecap, not your inner thigh, it's your knee, is going to come onto the back of your tricep. Think of your elbow, the eye of your elbow pointing forward, so you've rolled your elbows inwards and you can feel a broadness across your upper back. Think of spreading your shoulder blades wide. Press your knees against the triceps so that you can almost feel your body quivering because you're squeezing, you're holding your core in tight. Now keep doing that. Lift your hips towards the sky. The knees are squeezing in. Let your weight transfer forwards towards your fingertips. Keep squeezing everything inwards, and maybe your toes can leave the floor. You can leave your toes down onto the mat and work on the strength of holding your body weight into your hands and the toes stay down. So you've taken that balance aspect away for the time being. Maybe one foot can lift, maybe then try the other one. If you're feeling the fear, great, you're at home, grab yourself a cushion and place it in front of you so you don't feel that fear of bashing your head, but try not to fall. Falling is part of learning though. Once you've had a couple of goes at seeing if you can find your balance here, allow yourself to come back down onto your knees. Knees are together, sitting onto your shins. Let your arms come alongside your body, your chin towards your chest. Your forehead rests onto the mat as you make yourself into a small little ball. Allow your shoulders to roll forwards or sort of round, so you're making a nice ball shape with the back. Keeping the belly nice and heavy down towards your thighs. And then rolling the spine back up onto your shins. Allow your feet to kick off to the right side of your mat. So then your bum sits down to the left and your legs are left in a bit of a zigzag shape. Your right hand is then going to come onto your left knee. As you twist and look over your left shoulder, your left hand stays here towards the back of your mat to help support your spine to stay upright. Breathing in, lengthen towards the sky. Breathing out, keep twisting. And then draw yourself back to face center. This top right leg, you're going to kick out to the front of the mat and just let the sole of your left foot come to meet that inner thigh. So that left leg is then flopped and fallen away from you. Draw your toes back towards your shin. With a deep breath in, reach your arms to the sky and think of lengthening the sides of your body. Keep that length in your torso as you exhale to go forwards. Maybe your hands find your feet, but don't worry if they don't. You can let your hands rest to the floor or you can hold onto your calf. What you're trying to think of is your belly coming towards your thigh, not being concerned about how close your body is towards your leg. You're thinking of compressing here, pushing the back of the thigh towards the mat and allowing your spine to stay as long and straight as possible. Great, breathing in and then breathing out, releasing, drawing your body all the way back up, tucking your legs back underneath you. The legs then kick off towards the left side of the mat as your bum sits down to the right and you have your zigzag legs once again. Left hand comes onto the right thigh, right hand behind you to twist, looking over that right shoulder. Drawing the breath nice and deep down towards your belly. And keep allowing your body to turn as you exhale. And then untwisting, come back to face center. Left leg extends out in front of you. The sole of the right foot comes to inner of that left thigh and that leg flops away from the body. Use your inhale for length and your exhale to let the length go forwards. If you're working with a yoga strap, you can obviously take your strap around your foot if that makes you find a more comfortable shape for your fold. But as I said, holding the foot is not compulsory. You can hold a different part of your leg or just leave your hands onto the floor, trying to keep that length in your spine. Couple more breaths here. Great, use your inhale to sit yourself back nice and tall. Both legs out in front of you. Maybe just shift forwards so that you have some space on the mat behind you. Knees to be bent, feet hip distance apart. Reach your arms forwards and with your chin towards your chest and a rounded spine, gently and slowly roll yourself down onto your back. Let your shoulders and your head come down and then drawing your knees in towards your body to give yourself a soft little squeeze. Maybe a soft rock from left to right. Maybe just allowing your eyes to close so that your body, your breath, everything starts to slow a little. And then taking your knees nice and wide out towards your armpits. You can stay here giving them a squeeze in towards the body or take full happy baby by sending the soles of the feet to the sky, the hands to hold the feet as you bend the knees deeply towards the armpits. If those feet are far too far out of reach, stay with the bent knees, holding the shins instead. watching the breath come in and watching it go back out. Then releasing that. Let your feet come to the floor. And then one leg at a time, returning to the shape that we started in. Loose legs out onto the mat, loose arms alongside the body, closing the eyes, softening through the face. Just giving yourself these last few moments where there's nothing that your body needs to do but to breathe. Keep your attention on that soft in and out of the breath, not allowing any room for distraction, and just giving your body a few moments to completely let go. Great, use a nice deep inhale. Reawakening the body, reach your arms above your head, pointing through your toes, full body stretch. Your exhale draws the knees in towards your chest to give yourself a little squeeze. And then whatever way is comfortable for you, roll your way back up into a seated position, cross legs if that suits you. Sit your chest nice and tall, relax your shoulders. With your final breath in, circle your arms wide, reaching them high to the sky. With your final breath out, your hands to lower towards your belly as your chin lowers towards your chest. Namaste, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that was a nice way for you to end your Monday. There'll be more live classes this week, so you can check in on my Instagram for when they will be. If you wanted to subscribe to my channel, then you'll be notified when I'm about to go live. Otherwise, yeah, thanks so much. Hopefully, if you have any questions or you have any technical difficulties, just drop me a message in the comments box and we'll try to help you out with that.